start our briefing that is devoted to signing the memorandum. A National Agency for Prevention of Corruption and the Ministry of Justice of Ukraine signed memorandum for cooperation and information exchange. Good afternoon, dear friends. Today, we will publicly sign, as the Ministry of Justice, together with the head of Agency for Prevention of Corruption, the Memorandum for Cooperation and Information Exchange to get to the registry that are operated by the Ministry of Justice, and in order to carry out monitoring of civil servants' lifestyle, the agency should have access to the Ministry of Justice registers, the registry of for anti-corruption and other types of registry that is carried out by the ministry, and this is the instrument that will be used to carry out monitoring. Also, e-declarations that is operated by the national agency. It will be launched in the nearest future. It is ineffective if it is synchronized with the registries that are in the Ministry of Justice and in other bodies of state power. Also, I would like to remind to you that a year ago we signed a memorandum with the National Anti-Corruption Bureau. It started its active activity, and the Ministry of Justice was the first one who provided access to data for detectives of the National Anti-Corruption Agency, and that was a great help in investigating of top-level corruption and for the results of Anti-Corruption Bureau. And also the steps that is done by the Ministry of Justice. We are the first body that provides this access to the Agency for Prevention of Corruption. It will be important for the agency. They can monitor the lifestyle of the top officials and those public servants who are involved in corruption and who have assets that do not correspond to their declarations. And I would like to say that the Ministry of Justice will cooperate with the National Agency for Prevention of Corruption and to deliver information, and we developed the law on anti-corruption law, and I introduced this law to the parliament, and for me it is very important that this anti-corruption body was effective and worked in the nearest future with full power. Why it is so important for Ukrainian society? Because during the last 25 years there were no transparent system to follow the lifestyle of civil servants, and they lived for low salaries, but they had huge assets and property that was not declared. Their relatives were millionaires, and this brought the fact that oligarchs appeared, and the monitoring of lifestyle of civil servants is a preventive measure in order that the state service is cleared from people who cannot explain the origin of their assets, people who cannot understand where their property comes from. So they will be the clients of other anti-corruption bodies. So why law enforcers are not enough? When we developed the concept of new anti-corruption bodies in Ukraine, and our experts from the European Union provided us with recommendations, the main provision of that time was that it's not enough just to have law enforcement. The criminal cases and investigation is very important. It provides the opportunity to bring billions of hryvnias back to the budget of Ukraine, but also prevention is important. To train civil servants how to be transparent, open, how to complete declarations and show their lifestyle, because civil servant has responsibilities and he should make his lifestyle public. He should show his assets, to show it to the proper anti-corruption bodies, and the National Agency for Prevention of Corruption plays a key role in the system of fighting corruption. And this body was created, and there were many obstacles in the parliament when the law was voted for. And it shows that the old system opposed this body that will deal with e-declarations and monitoring of the lifestyle of civil servants. That's why last year there was a process of creation of National Anti-Corruption Bureau. The Ministry of Justice came up with the initiative and opened access to the registry we operate. You remember there was an access open to the property registry and business registry. And we were criticized by experts and those politicians who didn't want that society knew what assets they have, what cars they drive, and how many houses they have and yachts. And when they speak from the rostrum of the parliament about that they care about Ukrainian citizens, and they display populism for 25 years, and at that they live differently, their lifestyle is different, and they cannot explain where did they get this property if they are civil servants for many years and they were not involved in business. So we made first step. We opened all the registry, and I can inform you that during the months to the registry of property, more than 100,000 people addressed on the registry on business, and also we made an access to the information from this registry. It was used by several million of businessmen, and they got information about their companies and online services. But we shouldn't stop at that. It's very important that the National Agency for Prevention of Corruption should get full access and synchronization of work of our registry with the e-declaration registry, and this will give us the opportunity to fully carry out monitoring of the civil servants' lifestyle. I believe that part of the civil servants, they will get fired, and that will be simple answer for this. Ukrainian state does not need civil servants who got their assets illegally. We will find those people who will come to civil servants through contest, and they will be ready to work and live on the legal assets. And that's why we signed this important document. This is not simply a memorandum. This is a roadmap in what day the National Agency for Prevention of Corruption will be able to get access to the whole registry of the Ministry of Justice. And I would like to thank Natalia Korchak, head of the National Agency for Prevention of Corruption, because in this difficult condition and with the high pace, she launches the work of this agency. I want to thank the members of the agency, your collegial body, and I would like to testify full support by the Ministry of Justice and the Cabinet of Ministers and the government that we support your work. Our position is clear. The agency should work. Electronic declaration is reality. No matter that some politicians don't like it, this is the reality that appeared in Ukraine, and all the civil servants, top officials that are responsible for the situation in the state should complete these declarations, and we will support this process.
Much was said, and I do not wish to duplicate what was said. And I would like to add that the memorandum which we will sign today, it has a broader function than just access to the registers. For example, it says that the parties would provide each other with the multifaceted support in all the aspects related to implementation of this memorandum, which means that we will not just get access to the registers, but we will get broader support from the ministry to all our work. The National Anti-Corruption Agency won't be able to carry out its function without access to the classified or non-classified information, operational access, which is related to assets and property. And also, I strongly believe that Ukrainian society should unite efforts. The declaring system should be connected online to the registers, to the data services. We should prevent any human access and any human interference into the databases. Unfortunately, at the first steps of our work, I've faced a situation that each agency that developed its own register or database, they are posted in different platforms and are in non-compatible formats. That is, if we wish to bring all the databases together, just as it is done in the European Union, we should start to think in European way and to develop the databases from the very beginning in compatible formats. Against at the background of media statements that this or that is not done properly by the heads of state agencies, etc. But we should do more essential work. As of today, our agency has not started the work yet. And having established our agency, the Minister of Finance forgot to allocate money for material supplies and for procurement of computers for us. And today's memorandum is very important in building up tours for the comprehensive database development. Today, speaking about tours, about comprehensive database, I speak about protected product, quality product of IT. The electronic e-declaration system should not be just launched, but it should bring its outcomes, and the efficiency of e-declaring system directly depends on the connection to the important registers which are maintained by the Minister of Justice. That's why I'm very grateful to the Minister of Justice. But the Minister of Justice is not a single holder of such registers. Another big holder of information is the State Fiscal Service, who is not so friendly to our agency. And we spent almost a year approaching to this agency and trying to establish necessary contacts to get access to their registers. We see our role as a preventive institution which is the face of Ukraine in Europe. Today in our anti-corruption bureau, we had a meeting with the mass media. I heard a lot of criticism that we do not appear quite often in media space, etc. But I would like to encourage you to spread constructive criticism. We see our role as a preventive body. We wish to cooperate with civil society, and at the same time, the civil society should understand that we should make only liable decisions, responsible decisions, and the role of civil society is to assist us and it is important to learn lessons from our shortcomings and mistakes, because all of us wish to wish better future for our children. And Natalia, during this several last months, when you started the agency from 4 people who were elected in result of public competition, you developed a set of legislative initiatives. We, by the way, today as a ministry, we approved the reporting template for political parties. This is an important tool in anti-corruption work. The parties that arrive to the parliament have to fill in the detailed report about revenues and expenses, and this huge work about template for political parties reporting is a product of professional work, and I'm very thankful to Natalia and her team who managed to develop this reporting template, and all political parties now have to fill in this template, and from this moment all Ukrainian citizens will be able to understand how do the parties survive, including those who declare populist statements. The declaration form, which also was registered by the Ministry of Justice, will be published soon. And this work also was done by the experts from the National Corruption Prevention Bureau. This is an important governmental agency which was created from scratch, despite all the counteraction and all the obstacles created by those people who did not wish this agency to become functional. Because the anti-corruption and corruption prevention are very important aspects for Ukraine today. As a Minister of Justice, who is in charge of the big government body, I know how important this is. I would like to assure that Ukrainian government would like to promote your work, to support the work of your agency, and to create all conditions for your agency to work on the framework of legislation and to carry out awareness campaign, training, etc. I believe that this will considerably decrease level of corruption in Ukraine. Actually, the work of your corruption prevention agency is a good warning to all the candidates for top civil service who plan to be crooked in this position. I'm also full of optimism. Thank you very much. We are signing the memorandum.
Будь ласка, присядьте, тому що з камери розумію, що всім хочеться засняти цей історичний момент, але ж все ж таки поважаємо колег.
Вам покажемо. Я думаю, що ми його розмістимо на сайтах двох наших відомств.
We will post it on the websites of our ministries. Thank you for cooperation and we will win.
Дякую, шановні друзі.
Thank you, dear friends. Do you have questions on the topic? Any questions on the topic? Урядовий кур'єр. What is the responsibility for intentionally wrong data in the declaration? The responsibility is under criminal code, either serious fine or court jail sentence for 2 years, deprivation of liberty from 2 years. But the wrong information in declaration is a good pretext for the National Anti-Corruption Bureau to start investigation about real assets. So the declaration and launching of all the system is a good filter for civil servants, government officials who intentionally make mistakes in declaration. This is actually the filter for those who enriched illegally. So this is a proportional criminal responsibility. You should not forget that the criminal responsibility appears when people forget, so to say something. This is 250 minimal monthly earnings. But the function of your agency, not just monitoring. We have to implement the anti-corruption policy. Also, we have to control the standards of integrity. We have to monitor the lifestyle of government officials, financial reporting of political parties, and prevention of political corruption. What are standards of integrity? The standards of integrity, this is what is required by society, that bureaucrats wish to use their positions for personal in personal interest, but to carry out their duties properly. By the way, the main department of civil service has to develop this integrity standards, while our role is to control compliance, to supervise compliance. Our area is the conflict of interest. We have time for just 2 questions.
Evgenia Zazulya, UA1. There is a decision of court, and Zhytomyrsky confectionery owners are UTDŽ-A, and there was a commission headed by Pavlo, and the decision was entered into the registry, and the property of one legal person is given to the other. And question to Mr. Petrenko and to Natalia why the Ministry of Justice violates the law and whether you are going to review this case. This question does not relate to briefing. Ask those people who ask you to ask this whether their actions are legal. Can you give an answer? No. So we should respect each other. Do you have questions on the topic of the briefing? Dear colleagues, if you don't have the question, so you violate the law if you prevent journalists from carrying out their duties. This is the law on TV and other media. So I have a question to Mr. Petrenko, the information agency nation Korchak. Tell us, please, who will complete these report from your party, People's Front. It consists of 59 pages. Are you going to do it yourself, or you have people in your party who will do it? And do you feel comfortable in the government and in the party, together with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Avakov, who do not carry out the Article 10 of Constitution of Ukraine, that he does not use Ukrainian language while in office. According to the law, the report from the party that is in parliament, there is a special person in the party who completes this report, and there is special body and the council of party, and I believe that the responsible person who has the right to sign financial documents will complete this report, and it will be made public. And me personally, I exclusively use Ukrainian language, and I'm proponent of this. And everyone, without exception, those who are in office should speak Ukrainian. This is my position. Starting from my start in the public policy. Unfortunately, the time is over. If you have questions, you can put them off records.
Брифінгу. Дякую.